Hello, and welcome back to Pages of Inspiration. Today, we delve into a controversial and thought-provoking experiment in the history of psychology, the Stanley Milgram Experiment. In his study, psychologist Stanley Milgram examined how ordinary individuals would behave under the influence of authority. So let's dive in. The experiment goes back to 1961 when Milgram designed a study to investigate the impact of authority on human behavior. Milgram was actually inspired by the atrocities committed during the Holocaust and wanted to understand how seemingly average individuals could become active participants in horrific events. The experiment sought to shed light on the psychological process involved in following orders from authority figures, even when those orders went against an individual's moral judgment. Volunteers were recruited to participate in what they believed was a memory and learning experiment. However, the true purpose was to observe their willingness to administer electric shocks to another person. To understand the experiment, we must first understand the setting. 3 individuals participated in the experiment: an authority figure called the experimenter, a learner who is a staged actor, and a person over which the experiment was actually conducted. He was called the teacher. The teacher has to ask questions to the learner, and each time the learner answers incorrectly, the teacher has to provide an electric shock with the consent and encouragement of the experimenter. The participant, aka the teacher, and the actor, aka the learner, were taken into separate rooms, but they still can communicate through a system. The teacher was informed that the learner's task was to memorize pairs of words, and for each incorrect response, the teacher would give the learner an electric shock. In the same room with this teacher stood a stern-looking experimenter dressed in a white lab coat. The experimenter assured the teacher that the shocks were harmless, emphasizing the importance of the study and the need to continue even if the learner screamed or expressed pain. The experiment started, and each time the learner answered incorrectly, the participant, aka the teacher, was told to administer an electric shock, and increasing the voltage gradually. As the experiment progressed, the learner, aka the actor, would purposely make mistakes. Initially, he would express mild discomfort, but as the shocks intensified, he would scream and plead to stop the experiment, and then fall silent, simulating maybe unconsciousness or even death. Each time, if the participant hesitated or expressed concern or even guilt, the experimenter used verbal prompts to urge them to continue. He would say phrases like, "Please continue," or "The experiment requires you to go on." The participant, despite their unease, would proceed to administer the shocks based on the instruction of the lab experimenter. After a certain point, the experiment was halted. The participant was then debriefed and informed about the true nature of the study. He was assured that no real harm was caused. Astonishingly, and despite the apparent harm inflicted, a significant majority of the participants, almost 65%, continued to administer shocks till the highest intensity. They were willing to follow the commands of the authority figure, even when it conflicted with their own moral judgments. Now let's pause for a second and ask ourselves, were the Nazis who carried out horrific acts during World War II were truly under blind obedience to authority, or were they convinced by a larger ideological framework? Please feel free to mention your opinion in the comments section below, and remember to subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.